Hello guys, my name is Kathleen Jackson from H 2019. So ngayon i-discuss ko ang four mechanisms used in access control such as identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. Next. What is access control? Access control is a security techniques that regulates who or what can view or use resources in computing environment like Facebook, Google, Google and Gmail, and etc. Authentication. So when you have enter your surname and when you do enter next the password, this is what authentication is about. Here are the authenticate or prove yourself that you are the person whom you are claiming to be. Authentication can be done through various mechanisms. Let's understand this type. This like this example, when you enter your surname and then your password, kapag pag nag-login ka, mag-authentication yung magte-text yun sa'yo yung password, yung authentication para ma-claim na ikaw talaga yung nag-login. Pag di mo nilagay pag di mo naman nilagay yung code na yan, ibig sabihin hindi ka makaka-login kasi hindi yun sa'yo yung sariling account na yun. Kaya kailangan mo ng authentication para maka-login sa account. There are commonly three ways of authentication. We have something you know, something you have, and something you are. Something you know, here the authentication happens with the knowledge or what you know when it can be a PIN, password, or key, pet's name, and etc. This is the most common authentication implemented today. This is also one of the cheapest authentication mechanisms. And then next, something you are, something you have. Here's the authentication happens on ownerships, something you have or own. An access ID card, credit card, RS token, security badge, and all example of the things you can own and authenticate yourself with. In case of badge or stolen or lost, can be issue of those cases. The next something you are. Here's the authentication happens with you. Characteristic. Your physical and attribute is used to authenticate you. Characteristics such as fingerprints, voice prints, iris scan, and palm print, etc. are example of characteristic or biometric and excuse and issue with ano, something you are. There's authentication happens with you. Characteristics. This physical attribute is used to authenticate you. Characteristics such as fingerprints, voice prints, iris scans, palm print, etc. are example of characteristic or biometric. An issue with this can be you can never change and characteristic if someone get hold of your biometrics, unlike a password which can be changed. Dual factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. If more than one factor authentication is used, is called as multi-factor authentication. Dual means two, hence two-factor will be used. Example, PIN plus access ID. Dito naman pinagsama yung something you know and something you are. This is an example of dual factor in authentication. Considering the top secret research organization where a person has to showcase his access ID, then enter a PIN, and then get his iris scan to get access. This means this organization is deployed multi-factor authentication. Dito naman, pinagsama na yung something you have and something you know. Mas mahirap hindi dito yung kapag magla-login ka. Parang mas secure to, kumbaga kaysa iisa lang yung password mo. Kaya kasi dito mas marami kang gagamitin na password like pwedeng PIN or password or access ID and your iris scan. Yeah. Authorization. A lot of times, many people get confused with authentication and authorization. Too many, it seems simply, and if an authenticate and authorize to do anything. Authentication, ikaw yung nagmamay-ari ng account. ng login forms or para mag-authenticate yung authentication proves that your credential exists in the system. You have successfully proved that identity you are claiming. Sa authentication, naman, ito yung patunayan na ikaw talaga yung mismo nag-login. Kaya malalaman mo, authentication yun kasi may PIN na ibibigay sa'yo. Yung PIN na yun yung authentication. Kapag yung authorization naman, kapag nag-login ka ng username mo or yung password mo, tapos nag-login or successfully login, ikaw mismo yun. Ikaw yung authorization. Ikaw yung authorization lang. Accountability. The final piece in this puzzle is about accountability. Imagine where our user has been given certain privilege to work. What happens when he and she decide to misuse those privileges? If these audit logs are available, then you will be able to investigate and make the subject who has misused those privileges accountable on this basis of those logs. The subject needs to be held accountable for that action taken within a system or domain. The only way to ensure accountability is if the subject is uniquely identified and the subject actions are recorded. Auditing capabilities ensure users are accountable for their actions. Verify that the security policies are enforced and can be used in investigation tools. Dito, bilang user, kailangan mo sumunod sa community guidelines at accountable ka sa mga action na ginagawa mo para magamit mo pa yung account mo or hindi ka ma-report sa website na yun or ma-hold yung account mo. Kaya bilang user, kailangan mo limitahan ang paggamit ng account para hindi ka lumabag sa community guidelines.